Hi everyone, I'm Wendy and today I have another meal inspiration video for you. I'll show you several things that I've been eating lately to give you some plant-based meal ideas. But before we get into that, a quick note. Normally, I post videos every Saturday, but with next week being Thanksgiving, I think I'm gonna take the week off. But have no fear, if you need some Thanksgiving inspiration, you can check out my video from last year to see everything my family ate for our 100% plant-based Thanksgiving. But for this video, I have some everyday, quick and easy meal ideas. As we go through, I'll tell you basically how I made each meal, but let me know in the comments if you see any that you'd like the full recipe made into a video. First up, I have enfrijoladas, which is a dish I saw Dr. Nikki Davis make on Chef AJ's channel a while back, and it has become one of my new favorite meals. It starts with 2 cans of black beans, and you use all of the liquid, so you want to try to find no salt added beans. The beans are simply blended and heated up. Then you dip warm corn tortillas in the bean sauce and add whatever toppings you like. I've done multiple different variations of this, but that day I had cabbage, peppers, onions, parsley, a little red wine vinegar, salsa, and sunflower seeds. Really simple and delicious. Next, I have marinated tempeh and some little patties that I made out of leftover sorghum and purple sweet potato. And then I had a chocolate shake, and I'm putting that in quotes for a couple reasons. One, it doesn't look very chocolatey because I have so many greens in there that it turned out pretty green. But I also avoid chocolate for many reasons, so I use carob powder instead for that chocolatey flavor. I don't really have a recipe for this meal, it was just something I threw together last minute. But again, leave comments below if you see anything in this video that you want me to make a recipe for. Next was a meal I had with my parents. I eat with them every weekend, so this was mashed potatoes and gravy, green beans, roasted acorn squash, and then my mom's baked beans, which are so delicious, and her homemade whole wheat bread. We had that with a cabbage salad. I've also really been loving quinoa salads lately. I take cooked quinoa, in this case I had red quinoa, and then add whatever veggies I have on hand. Here are a couple different variations. One day I had it with an apple, and the types of veggies I like to use are cucumbers, mixed greens, cabbage, onions, peppers, and then I usually dress it up with some kind of vinegar, and sometimes I add hummus as well. This was from another weekend at my parents' house. We've been making squash pies pretty much every week for the last month and a half or so. We keep getting all kinds of squash in our CSA, so we're just perfecting our skills before Thanksgiving. This day we also made it a, quote, chocolate pie by using carob powder. We've been using Kathy Fisher's pumpkin pie recipe and just using whatever kind of squash we have, including acorn, butternut, delicata, and of course pumpkin. We had our pie with some banana nice cream, and for the meal, it was another simple meal of mashed potatoes, green beans, gravy, and my mom's meatloaf patties. I did recently share that recipe, so I'll link that video for you. And this was a soup recipe that I also learned about on Chef AJ's channel. She had Chef Bravo from the True North Health Center on, and this is a soup that they use there. It's very gentle to digest, so it's a really good food for fasting patients when they start refeeding. And it's so simple to make. It's literally just equal parts zucchini and peeled yellow potato. I cubed those, added enough water to boil them, and then blended them once they were cooked. There are no seasonings, but it really doesn't need it. It's really comforting and tasty as it is. I had that with a couple of meals. Here's one of them where I enjoyed a beautiful salad, and I took some corn tortillas to make crispy chips to dip in hummus. This is a mung bean stew I made up. Again, I didn't really follow a recipe. I just added mung beans, tomatoes, carrots, and Swiss chard along with some spices into my Instant Pot. I served it along with some brown rice. Once again, here are more mashed potatoes and my mom's delicious baked beans. I think I will do a recipe video at some point for that. Again, comment below if you'd like to see it. And the veggies we served with it this time again came from our CSA. That week we had some carrots and this really cool broccoli. We chopped those up and covered them in mustard and balsamic vinegar and roasted them. And the carrots came along with beautiful carrot tops, so we sauteed those up with spinach and onions. Next, I have some good old rice and beans. I took some leftover brown rice, mixed it with black beans, frozen bell peppers, and frozen onions. I seasoned it with the Fiesta Fire Blend from Well Your World. And I had that with a couple potatoes that I cubed and baked in my toaster oven. I also had a little salad with peppers, onions, cabbage, and pumpkin seeds. Here's another big salad along with potato wedges and my curry chickpea patties. That recipe is also in the same video with my mom's meatloaf patties if you want to see how to make it. Then here I have a carrot soup. I had tons of carrots that had just been sitting in my fridge for a long time, so I finally decided to chop them all up, put them in the Instant Pot along with a couple potatoes, some celery, onion, and garlic, and then I blended it up. I served that along with more bean patties and another cabbage salad. Next is a recipe from Javant of the Healthy Vegan Eating YouTube channel. I'll put a link to his recipe in the details below the video. This is a veggie sausage ground. It's got mushrooms, onions, cauliflower, and tons of spices. I was surprised by how much it actually does kind of look like ground sausage while it's cooking. Honestly, it kind of creeped me out, but it was really delicious. It has a nice sausage flavor, but it didn't really have the same texture. You can definitely tell that you're just eating finely chopped up veggies. But I'm kind of glad because I personally don't enjoy that texture of meat. That recipe made a huge batch, so I was able to freeze some of it and use it in many different meals. But my favorite was this breakfast pizza. I made a whole wheat pizza crust and topped it with a plain tofu scramble. Then I added some of that veggie sausage ground and topped it with my vegan cheese sauce. Once it was baked, it smelled so delicious. This reminded me of one of my favorite meals as a child, which was my mom's breakfast pizza. But that one was loaded with real sausage, eggs, and so much cheese I don't even want to think about how much we used. It's no wonder I had high cholesterol. What's great about this version is I could eat several pieces without getting the food hangover that I used to get when eating breakfast pizza. I do have a video making a different variation of breakfast pizza, but it'll give you the basic idea of how I made this. Next up, I made a simple veggie sauté using all kinds of veggies that I needed to use up, including broccoli, peppers, onions, garlic, and I simply flavored it with some vinegar. I can't remember what kind. It was probably balsamic or red wine vinegar because that's what I use most of the time. And I ate that along with a pasta salad that my mom had made. And last but not least, I have some lovely vegetables that I roasted. I've got different colored potatoes and a kabocha squash. Or is it kabocha squash? How do you pronounce it? I've heard it both ways. Anyway, I baked these up and used them throughout the next couple of days. Here I have a couple more bean patties, and I had that with some sauteed cabbage. I hope this video gave you some meal ideas. Feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.